like I always say, I respect Terence Crawford. He's a very talented
Yeah.
fighter, but he just win uh, one big fight. If you see his record, he just beat one good fighter like Errol Spence is.
Yes.
But other than that, I don't think he's beating other great fighter like Spence. He did a really good job with the Spence. He did like almost look very easy but I knew Terence Crawford is a great fighter. But you never know in boxing. We'll see.
And it's crazy because they talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. He went up and lost. So let's not do that, Canelo.
Okay. All right, you guys. All right. Here we go. So I wasn't going to do a video today. Plus, I was actually working. I did a panel on a show. And right now it's I gotta keep it under wraps. It should be a pretty good fun surprise. I was on a panel talking about boxing today, and it was a great discussion, another fun discussion. But I just can't announce anything yet. But I'm telling you, once it releases, you guys will definitely know. So I wasn't going to work today, but a lot of you guys were DMing me this. I don't even know when this happened. If this is new from Canelo Alvarez, I think it's new from Terence Bud Crawford, but you guys wanted to know how I feel about it. So here we go. First, we got to talk about Terence Bud Crawford and what he said. When Terence Crawford said that he moved up and won, and Canelo moved up and lost, I don't think that was a strong point. The reason why, and I love Terence Crawford, but I understand people gonna get hurt and all that, so y'all get hurt in the comments. But I don't think it was a strong point because Canelo Alvarez actually moved up and won. I mean, he moved up a lot of weight classes, but if you want to talk about light heavyweight, he moved up and he beat Kovalev. He knocked Kovalev out the first time he moved up. Then he moved up again and he lost to Bivol. 115, 113, losing to Bivol. Terence Crawford, on the other hand, he moves up to 154. He won 115, 113, but it was against an 11-0 Madrimov who didn't really have much of a resume. So, I mean, it's just different. Let's be honest. Madrimov, you can't really name who's his biggest win, right? I guess is when he became WBA for the vacant title and against who, right? So it's not like, I mean, Madrimov, he got skill, but we don't really know how good he is. We'll see February 22nd, right? But there's a difference there. To be real, I mean, Bivol is a Hall of Famer. Okay, this guy, all time light heavyweight. It's a bit different. All right, level of opposition and stuff. And Canelo did knock out Kovalev when he did move up. Okay, and Kovalev is a bigger challenge at light heavyweight than Madrimov at 154 for Terence Bud Crawford. Let's just keep it a bit. Now let's talk about Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez and what he had to say about Terence Bud Crawford was false. Terence Bud Crawford has more than one good win. He had one significant win, which was like his biggest win, but he had many of good wins. A lot of people like to bring up Holster, which, I just think he was too much for him, to be honest. But I do like his Sean Porter win, right? I like the way he dismantled Kell Brook. He had some wins. I mean, even against Gamboa at the time, that was really when you were like, oh, this Terence Crawford is really too much for this division. So, I mean, yeah, Errol Spence was his biggest win, but he didn't just have one win. But it was revealing to me with Canelo Alvarez. A lot of people are asking if Canelo Alvarez will get credit for beating Terence Crawford. Canelo is dissing the victory. If he were to beat Crawford, he's dissing it himself. He's saying, this guy's, he just doesn't have the resume, not the size. And he thinks it's going to be an easy fight. And he's really kind of dissing it himself. So I don't even know if he credits himself if he beats Crawford, to be honest. I thought it deserved the credit because so many people demand it. And my logic is, if everybody wants the fight, you cannot discredit the fight if Canelo wins. You begged for it. Everybody wants it. If this fight happens in September, it will be arguably the biggest fight of 2025 of this year. So you can't have the biggest fight of this year be something that people discredit. You just can't have both. So in my opinion, if there's going to be a highly demanded fight, you better give the winner credit, regardless of who it is. If it's Canelo Alvarez, you better give him credit. But to Canelo's point, I've heard this before, and it reminds me of Lomachenko versus Ring of the Honor. Everybody wanted Lomachenko versus Ring of the Honor. Everybody wanted it, but Lomachenko. Lomachenko kept saying, "Hey, he's too small. He's too old and too small."
I think because he has a 37 years old and this weight. You know why he has fight with me? Because his career is finished and he won the money. It's a biggest purse for his all his career. You know, that's why he move up to weight category and move up to fight with me.
He kept saying it.
He's a good fighter. He's a strong fighter, but it's not his weight, it's not his size.
And he didn't want to fight him because he wasn't much of a challenge for him, he felt. But people were saying Lomachenko was ducking. So then when he fought him and made him quit, Lomachenko, he destroyed Ring of the Honor. Then it came to light like, oh yeah, well yeah, he was too big for him. And people start to discredit it. But Lomachenko, after the fight, he himself was like, I told you, he's too small. I got to find the clip. Hopefully I found the clip and I'll add it right now.
He's a good fighter. He's a top fighter. He's a king in the boxing, but he's a king in his weight category. It's not his size. It's not his weight. So it's not big win for me because it's another weight category.
But I remember after the fight was like, I told you, he's too small and too old and too small. Right? So I can see that with Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez, if he were to beat Terrence Crawford, he'd be like, I told you. I the best. I can't do a Canelo. It's not as funny as, but still, I've heard this before, right? So honestly, I don't even think Canelo would be asking for credit. Canelo is trying to say that this is going to be an easy fight for me, which I don't think it'll be an easy fight, but I'm very certain that Canelo wins the fight. But I don't think it'll be easy. I think it'd be a good fight as long as it lasts. Kind of like how Kell Brook and Triple G. That was a good fight as long as it lasts. Hell, Amir Khan was getting busy with Canelo. Honest, dude, hey, listen, I know. It was a destructive knockout. The knockout was nasty. All right. But before then, Amir was getting busy. All right. So I think as long as it lasts, Terrence Crawford, he's too great of a fighter to not put up a good fight. I just think that Canelo will win for all the reasons that Canelo knows, all the reasons Lomachenko knew. So honestly, if Canelo doesn't get much credit for it, I don't think it's going to bother Canelo because he's been saying, if y'all want it, I'll take the fight and get paid big bucks for it. But I think it's going to be easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think Crawford don't get me wrong. He's a great fighter. Mm-hmm. But for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. Mm-hmm. For me, easy money. So if the money is right, I'm in.
So I don't even think Canelo would be asking for credit. But I think you can't not say both. You cannot have this be the biggest fight and most demanded fight, and you really want this fight. And I'm not talking about you. I know there's a lot of people who don't. But I'm saying you as far as the masses, generally speaking. I've done polls, and by a whopping 90%, people are like, yo, we want Terrence Crawford versus Canelo. So listen, I've done the polls, and people really want the fight. So regardless, generally speaking, you cannot demand this fight and then discredit Canelo if he wins.
But it's a big win for boxing because people wanted to see this fight. It was a mythical matchup.
But let me know how you feel in the comments below. ShowBizz, don't. I'm out.